Welcome to Spotlight. I'm Shonda Scott, and today our spotlight is on Director Jody London, and we'll have a conversation with her about the projects that she's working on in her district and district-wide, and the conversation about the school district providing housing for its teachers and other employees. Director London, thank you.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
Yes. You always have good projects you're working on to update us on. I mean, you were always the one that started the green conversation before, everyone was talking about green. And now, spearheading the conversation about districts providing housing for their teachers. That sounds like a no-brainer to me. It sounds like a good fit.
Right.
Especially in areas like Oakland where the cost of living is so high. In order to recruit teachers and, police officers and people, provide some form of, workforce housing for them.
Right. So there's just a number of factors coming together that make it a good time to start talking about providing housing for educators. Universities have long provided faculty housing, and there are a number of examples around the state and even across the country where districts have, now it doesn't mean that the district necessarily owns the housing, but they find creative ways to work with developers to potentially lease their property or find other arrangements that make it feasible for educators to stay in their communities. Yeah. So there are a lot of programs at the federal level that provide affordable housing, but teachers make just too much to qualify for affordable housing. I think teachers should be paid much more, and that's a conversation we need to have as a society, as a country, about how we pay, compensate our educators. So teachers in particular are hit because it's so expensive to live now in Oakland. I was at a city council meeting in October where they were talking about housing. Average income to buy a house in Oakland these days, $150,000.
And that's the average.
And that's average, right? So that's crazy. Like neighborhoods all over Oakland are changing rapidly, and we need to find ways to preserve the diversity of our community. I think we need more housing, period. So I've started this conversation last summer. It's been incredibly popular. I'm really happy to see this mantle getting picked up. This week, the city council voted in a project that they were approving that had some workforce housing. So that means that the income to qualify better matches the income of our teachers and other people who are more kind of middle income folks. And spearheaded by Councilmember Annie Campbell-Washington, they are providing a preference for educators. That's what the City Council voted to do.
Oh, fantastic.
Very exciting. I've been in conversations with our local...
That's a good community benefit for developers to have on their projects.
It is, and sometimes it's hard for them to finance that, and that's where we're lucky that Assemblymember Tony Thurmond is also very interested in this topic, and I think he's going to look at how he can introduce some legislation that would also help school districts in our area and elsewhere, but maybe we'll do some pilots here in Tony's district, find ways to facilitate housing for their employees.
Right, that's good. That's good. Perfect timing, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what's going on in your district, though? What are you working on there? You're working on everything so district-wide. I know you always have a good project in your district.
There's always a lot going on in District 1. We continue to have great parents. There's tons of auctions coming up in the next couple of months. Our parents do a lot of fundraising to help maintain the programs at their schools. The schools in District 1 tend to not have as many low-income kids, so they do a lot of work. We're lucky they have social capital to bring. We're very excited. We just completed the soccer practice field at Oakland International High School. We had a big controversy a couple of years ago over baseball field, soccer field. We've got that resolved, and now we're looking at how we can build a softball field for the girls over at Emerson. So we'll have the Temescal playing fields corridor. Pretty exciting.
That is exciting.
We're going to have new kitchen facilities at Piedmont Avenue Elementary and Hillcrest as part of our central kitchen build-out. We need every school to be able to actually cook on site the ingredients that come their way, and those two schools had kitchens that were like worse than your student apartment. Right. I mean, really, really not at all
Will
usable.
They have instructional gardens in part of theirs too? Will it be something like
I think that's more of a school decision if they have gardens, but I think Hillcrest
have the ability to.
Yeah, Hillcrest has a pretty robust garden program. So, and at those schools, they're older schools, and they needed space for the kids to gather. Putting the kitchen in was going to take up a lot of the space that they had in their already tiny multi-purpose rooms.
Okay. The legislative tours are one of your babies. It's like when school districts go out for bonds, you can actually show the fruits of your labor too. You know, you're showing the community, this is how we spent your money. And if we
Absolutely.
need any more, this is what we'll do when we get more. You know, so it's a
Right.
good way just to even the legislators and the community to see like what the district is doing.
And we know in Oakland that the need in our facilities exceeds by about 3 times the amount of authorized bond funds that we have. There's some limits on how much you can go out, how much indebtedness you can incur, and those are absolutely appropriate. I'm not questioning them, but we just know that we have a long punch list.
That's true. That's true. But you're doing a good work. So, any words of wisdom? Because you're also a parent in the school, Oakland Unified School District too. And not only are you sitting on the board and leadership, but you're also a parent. So, any words of wisdom that you can give parents on how to navigate the school district in the system, since you know both sides? Of it?
The school district is your friend, right? A lot of people come in and not a lot, but there are people who come in and they want to have a beef. And you know, the place to start is with your students' teachers and with the principal at your kid's school, and really figure out what's going to work for your child. Does your child need an accommodation in some way? And we are working really hard to make sure that we have quality instruction and great program offerings in every school. So Superintendent Wilson, I've been really happy with the work that he's been doing and the leadership he's shown and some of the ideas he's brought in for us. You know, when I joined the school board in 2009, we were in state receivership.
That's true.
We hired our first superintendent. We emerged from receivership in July of 2009. We've done so much since that time to close, to fix things. There's still a lot of work to do, but we've almost nearly solved the problems with our audits. We have a vision around community schools that is very bold. We've done a lot of work to better help our students who have been historically underserved. Our African American Male Achievement Program is a national model. The work we do on social emotional learning is recognized nationally. The Restorative Justice Program. There's so many other programs that we are offering that really are designed to help kids not only with academics, but with the other issues that they bring with them when they come into the classroom.
That's a good point. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now you're one of the veterans on the board.
Yes,
you have
it's a
all
very-
this institutional history now.
Yes, I feel like the old lady with the little glasses going, okay, now, you know, when we tried this is something we can learn from. And
You have all that wisdom. You're like, you know what worked, what didn't work, and when a good time to start
Right.
new projects like the housing for the teachers. I think that's very important.
yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank
Great.
you.
Thank you. Great to
Good.
see you.
You too. You've been watching Spotlight. Our spotlight today is on Director Jody London, who's on the Board of Education of the Oakland Unified School District, where every student thrives.